An NFC Championship game rematch. It's the coach. You're watching Week 5 of the NFL on EA Sports. Last January, it was Case Keenum versus Nick Foles. Today, it's Kirk Cousins versus Carson Wentz as the Minnesota Vikings head to Philly to take on the Eagles. I'll have stats and scores around the league at halftime, but first, let's send it out to Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, it's the NFL on EA Sports as you take a look there at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. The scene in South Philly a few moments ago. Boy, the city of brotherly love is fired up. They're saying, fly, Eagles, fly, as they get ready to match up with the Minnesota Vikings. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, you look at this Eagles team as they interplay here. It's been all systems go in this first month. They're off to a 4-0 start.
And it's got folks believing that this is a team that's built to go all the way. You can't win the Super Bowl in September, but they're telling everyone that they're going to be there in the end.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Vikings, they were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes it actually works to your advantage. Now you've got to band together your team, the us against the world mentality. Let's see if they can use it and get a victory.
The first quarter of the season already in the rearview mirror, and off we go in Week 5 on EA Sports. So now here comes the Eagles offense as they get ready to take over. As we get a peek at the number 2 overall pick from the 2016 draft, standing at 6'5", Carson Wentz.
That was a solid performance last week, wasn't it? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, ran the team well. Won the ball game. Bottom line, may not have been earth-shattering, but it didn't need to be.
Now the rookie from Notre Dame, it's Josh Adams. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. The numbers for Adams in last week's game. 12 carries, 54 yards.
Well, he's the number 2 runner in the league, and you just know the offensive line wants to get him to number 1 because most of the good ball carriers, they take care of their linemen. Could be a gold watch in their future if he becomes the leading rusher. And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it'll be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
Quickly now, a look at the Eagles' offensive starters.
Throw on your shades, throw on your sunglasses. We're about to shine a little spotlight on Golden Tate, who comes off of 4 straight seasons with 90 or more catches. He's a guy that maybe doesn't get put in the category of elite receiver, but when you look at his production overall and how he's used in their offense, wide receiver, slot back, take some plays at running back, he's a threat every time the ball's in his hands, especially after the catch.
Eluding the pressure right. All that gets him is just a yard, and now it's 3rd down. And this defensive line will be looking to control the point of attack.
And that's what they've done throughout this season. This is a terrific unit. They play together very, very well, and they don't permit big plays to happen.
To throw is Wentz. Buying time to his left. Wentz can pull it down when he needs to, and the 6'5" quarterback picks up the first down.
That's something you have to be aware of as a defense and have to find a way to account for him. And if you're not going to use a spy, you're telling your guys to keep your eyes on him, because when he breaks out and makes plays like that, all he does is hurt you.
Have to at least be able to contain him somewhat. There they could not. They'll run on first down. Adams. And he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Viking territory. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. What's that, 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive, and like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it.
There we go. Back. 180!
Now they'll throw it. Wentz. And they're going to get him. He's taken down for a sack back at the 47-yard line. Everson Griffin in there to sack him for a loss of 6. Eagles coming up here on a 3rd and long, so Wentz and company with some work to do after the sack.
Here we go. Waiting!
From the gun, it's Wentz. And he's got it complete to Darren Sproles. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. 18 yards there and a first down.
I don't believe that this opening drive is surprising to either one of us after the time we spent with the coaching staff and players prior to the game. What about you?
Absolutely. Not only that, but that big article in the paper this morning about their philosophy on starting games like you're shot out of a cannon, and that's what they've done. Very methodical here on this first drive.
Yeah, so many teams talk about that fast start. We're actually seeing it happen right here in front of us.
But now the kicker. Can they cap it off by putting the ball in the end zone? Almost able to intercept it. That's one he would have liked to have held on to on this first drive. Instead, 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
On 2nd down, Adams. And not even back to the line of scrimmage this time as they're on him quickly once more. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12.
And Anthony Barr just has it all as far as I'm concerned in terms of physique, athletic ability, and now he's versatile as well. When he came out of UCLA, he played outside linebacker, but also down defensive end. The Vikings can utilize those same sort of skills.
Now he'll escape to his left. He can run for it, and he will. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. That one a broken play, but it ends up being a good play. The scramble goes for 20. So the youngster able to use the legs to pick up the first.
And one of my pet peeves when they see this guy play, when Carson Wentz takes off running the football, I always hear people go, oh, he's sneaky athletic. No, he's athletic. Watch him do it. He's an integral part of the quarterback run game, and he gets it done very, very well.
Yeah, you don't like sneaky athletic, do you? That's just kind of a jab in the back.
Yeah, not when it doesn't apply. I think that's a stereotype that needs to be broken down for him.
And that is caught. It's Aguilar for the Eagle touchdown. Nelson Aguilar, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Eagles drive right down the field and score on the opening drive. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
Elliott good on the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0. So that one a long 11-play drive, and it was capped off by an Eagles touchdown. Elliott now to kick this one away. To return, here comes Marcus Sherrills. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. They'll be led out by the veteran quarterback out of Michigan State. The former Spartan, it's Kirk Cousins.
And the numbers were not pretty. I mean, they don't look right. When you throw 2 interceptions, no touchdown passes, there's no way to really make that work. But I thought there were a lot of positives in watching his game tape. I think he's close to putting on a good performance. Let's see if he can flip those numbers around in this game. And, of course, rally his team to a win.
go play action here on first down. Over the middle, complete. It's Morgan. And out across midfield down to the 45. That one goes for 24 yards.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
Let's take a look here at the offense for Minnesota.
Kyle Rudolph had his second Pro Bowl appearance last year when he had 8 touchdowns, just one off of his career high. One of the most likable, upbeat players in the league, continues to improve as a blocker, is one of the best pass-catching tight ends in the league. One of the guys that the Vikings like to build around for the future.
On second down, Cook. Cook with a first down and much more. And he'll finally be taken down at the 2-yard line. A big hitter. That one goes for 40 yards.
Now that's the kind of run that fires up an entire team. Tackled at the 2-yard line. For the defensive guys, a little bit of a sigh of relief, though, that they stopped him short of the goal line. Now they got to figure out how to shore up the rest of the defense.
They've made goal line offense a priority on the practice field this week. This is exactly the situation they've been prepping for. They get it to him running left. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
A quick observation, Brandon, because early on in this game, I'm seeing linebackers putting up their noses close to the line of scrimmage.
And my guess is the wheels are turning on that other sideline. As a play caller, you're filing that away right now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're trying to find that opportunity later on when you can play action them or stick something to them between the second and the third level.
No gain on the play there. They're going to need to come up with something better here on 3rd and goal. And we peek at the defense now for Philadelphia.
A Pro Bowler each of the last 3 seasons, Fletcher Cox could blow up the run like nobody this side of Aaron Donald. When I asked him how he handled double teams, he said the first thing I want to do is get the hands of the first blocker off of me, then I'll just go ahead and deal with the second guy.
Third and goal for Cousins. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Adam Thielen, his second touchdown on the season. And the Vikings are an extra point away from tying this thing up. Dan Bailey now for the extra point. Bailey got the extra point, and we are tied at 7. So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The Eagles offense now, they head back on the field. And that last drive was very, very balanced, pretty methodical. You think they go that route again?
I'm always of the school that until they stop me from doing something, I'm willing to continue. And I think that that's exactly what they'll look to do. But the beauty is the balance that they've created sets up opportunities for big plays. Looks like a run, turn into a play action, and throw one deep.
The drive starting with a first down, 11 yards on that pickup. On first down, Adams. And he'll be brought down just shy of the 45. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1. Well, you often say that sort of opens the playbook now, 2nd and short. What do you think, early shot here?
I like where you're going. Obviously, we've been together for a while because you know me. I want to take that shot early and loosen things up.
Now it's the all-purpose back. This is Darren Sproles. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
They'll run on first down. Adams. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs. Getting the sense Charles are going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far, it's working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job when the lights come. I think he likes natural light best.
And this one's incomplete. Nelson Aguilar, the intended receiver, and it's second down.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely, just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. On second down now, Adams, and tough sledding. He'll get maybe a yard, stop short of the 35.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker, and what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
The Eagles on 3rd down. A perfect 3 for 3 as they look to keep that streak going. This is 3rd and 9. Shotgun now for Wentz. Steps away to his left. Aguilar has it. And they move this all the way down to the 9. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Someone sharp in this game. I mean, a touchdown pass on the first drive, and comes right back, and he's flinging it around really well here.
A really nice throw there to pick up the 1st down. You kind of just feel a laser focus and confidence about him, and I think we saw that this week, didn't we? Talking to him and the coaches, they felt good about his performance coming up.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that last practice we saw when they went through 2-minute drill, when they went through all the different situations. Ball hardly hit the ground, and I thought, yeah, he might be locked in for this one.
And we will not see another play as time has run out on this first quarter. 7-all is the score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this. And they've got it here with a 1st down. Now Adams. And only about a yard there as he takes it from the 9 to the 8. Defensively, pretty good start there with their backs against the wall.
That's a win for the stop troops right there. And if I'm them, I get a little bolder now. They won the first battle. Keep coming after them. Put the pressure on them.
Here's 2nd and goal, operating from the 8-yard line. Working from the gun, Wentz. This will be caught at about the 6. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Carson Wentz with 2 first-half touchdown passes. And the Eagles are able to cash it in for 6.
As a former defender, I would be angry as well. Could not get off the field. Well-executed offensive drive. No matter what the defense tried, they couldn't stop them.
Elliott now to add the extra point. Elliott good with a PAT, and that makes the score 14-7. So a nice drive put together there. They go 75 yards in 9 plays. The result, Philadelphia in the end zone. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Vikings offense now heading out to take over. And they had to wait a long time to get the football back. Probably not what you were hoping for when you got an offense that's humming.
Agreed. What you were looking for is the defense getting the ball back pretty quickly, right? Hoping for a 3 and out. So that didn't happen. You can't yell at your D for that. They've got to take care of their own business and reestablish themselves now that they're back on the field.
They start the drive with Cook. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
2nd and 6, just inside the 30. Play action now. Cousins. He's going to loft it deep right sideline. So the long attempt falls innocently to the ground, and it brings up 3rd.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
On 3rd down, Cousins. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, Couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It's way too tight. Unable to find anyone open.
So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Eagles will have great starting field position here as they take over. The fourth down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on first down. They'll run with a former Badger. It's Corey Clement. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside.
Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Eric Kendricks. And this one will be returned to right around the 38-yard line.
Oh, timing is everything on a route like this. He tried to drive that football into a tight spot. And if you're a little early or a little late, chances are there's going to be someone there. And sure enough, this one's going the other way.
Here's Murray now as they run it to start the drive. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Back to the ground, this time Cook. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And he'll be stopped right at midfield. A nice pick up there, 10 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
I remember the first time I saw Dalvin Cook play in college. I was watching him on TV, called a scouting friend of mine and said, "Who is this guy? He's special." And he said, "Dude, you're watching a home run hitter on the field."
Yeah, he was special in Tallahassee. Left Florida State their all-time leader in rushing yards and touchdowns. Cousins now from the 50. Got his man complete over the middle. And he'll be brought down at the 45-yard line. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Cousins now on 2nd down. And incomplete on the deep ball. He was looking for Adam Thielen there. And now it's 3rd down. They're going for a receiver there. Already has 1 touchdown in this first half. A second one not to be.
I like where their headspace is, though. I mean, I really like the thought process, right? You got a guy who's already scored 1, right? You want to go back to him, continue the hot hand, and make them adjust to you defensively. I like what they were trying to get done, even though they weren't successful.
And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. First grab so far for Diggs. It's a first down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be. And
trying to get it to Robinson, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Sidney Jones.
And that's a great example of ball skills right there, partner. You and I do a lot of games, and I can't tell you how many guys look to run with the football before they've intercepted it. So that's a nice job of focusing on the task at hand and coming away with the interception.
Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at their own 21. Here's a handoff to Sproles to start the drive. Up past the 25 to the 26, a gain of 5.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down, a very solid gain on that play.
Now Wentz throwing on 2nd down. And he fires This one incomplete. He was trying to get it to Zach Ertz that time. And that'll make it third down. Before the game, they were running the route tree about as efficiently and effectively as we could have possibly imagined. But sometimes the passes just go awry.
Yeah, let's face it. When you're running the route tree in pregame, you don't have defenders breathing down your neck. You don't have defensive backs making plays on the football. Hard to replicate the intensity of the game in pregame.
8 yards that time, able to take off, and the result is a first down.
How many times do we hear that third down may be the most important down in football, and there's no better example than what we just saw right there. Forced to scramble, knows where the first down marker is, dives for it, and gets it. What a big-time play, putting his body on the line to pick up a key first down.
Now a play fake here on first down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Daniil Hunter in there to bury him for a loss of 11. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result? Quarterback gets hit.
On second down, Adams. And he'll take it ahead to the 28-yard line. Give him 5 yards on the run there, but it'll leave him with a definite third and long on the horizon.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
The Eagles on third down. No problems to this point. A perfect 5 for 5. This is 3rd and 16. Wentz going to throw. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Harrison Smith. And the return will be stopped at the 34-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
First down, here's the run with Cook. And a short gain down to about the 33. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stopped that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
It's a 4-yard pickup there.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
Cousins from the gun on third. Oh, he may have gotten lucky. Tried to dump it off underneath on the check down. Nearly picked. Instead, it's incomplete.
Well, nearly another interception there. That would have been 2 drives in a row with a pick. He's got to start taking care of the ball way better than what we're seeing.
Interestingly, that throw was probably worse than the one he threw the interception on last drive, but fell incomplete. And Bailey able to knock it through. And they'll cut the lead back down to 4 now at 14-10. They got the interception, but very little movement after, and that forces him to settle for 3. And it does feel like settling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. It's what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Forced out to his left, and that is incomplete. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense, they spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try to trip away this timing.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. The first catch for Jeffrey. Good enough for a first down. Alshon Jeffrey so dangerous even when a defender's near him.
He's got such a big body. ability to run, positions himself well, excellent control. And you're exactly right. Even if people are draped on him, he often comes up with the catch. He really symbolizes what people are looking for in receivers in today's NFL.
Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first. All right, coming up at intermission. Charles, you want to wait to enhance your Saturday?
I certainly do.
I've got just a thing for you. It's the coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll be alongside at half to take us through the weekend in the NFL. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down. A very solid gain on that play.
Now a play fake. Wentz. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
I know at times people think we use it too often, but you've got to be able to throw guys open. And when you read zone, you've got to stick it in there before your receiver gets to the next guy in the zone. Otherwise, you bring him into the play.
And that's precisely what allowed that defense to disrupt the pass. Now Wentz on 3rd down. And he fires one, but incomplete.
That's a good job there creating the contact to force the incompletion. And now, since it's 4th down, that should set up a field goal situation.
And a nice sigh of relief defensively to be able to hold them to 3. And the kick by Elliott is good. And that moves him up by a touchdown now at 17-10. So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
And things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front 7? As they got closer to their goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
And you see Dalvin Cook in the offense heading back out. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the 2nd quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. Cousins. Throw left side on target to Thielen. Touchdown, Vikings. Adam Thielen, his 2nd touchdown of the game, his 3rd on the year. And the Vikings are an extra point away from tying this thing up. And a little time left on the clock, so on the other side, they're thinking, gosh, we'd like to get that lead right back.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Here I am going ahead and tapping out the first half.
Well,
there's still time. They've got to make a decision about what they want to do on the kickoff, whether they want to let their return guy touch it.
Bailey now for the extra point. Extra point up and good by Bailey. And we've got a tie game here in a back-and-forth first half. So a 75-yard scoring drive on just 3 plays. And it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. This is taken near the 13. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. The Eagles offense now gets set to head back onto the field. And after the field goal last time, let's see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you've met fan bases that wanted that, that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. On 1st and 10, here's Wentz, escaping the pressure right. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by the Pro Bowler, Anthony Barr. And the return will be stopped at the 34-yard line. Now whistles and a timeout. Looks like we've got a Viking slow to get up. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. Following the interception, Cousins gonna let one fly for Robinson. Grant, and it'll be intercepted. Picked off by Corey Graham. That's sort of a second quarter to forget for him. Now 2 picks in this frame.
Almost as if the first one that he threw, he couldn't shake, couldn't get it out of his head. He ends up throwing a second one as a result.
Compounds the mistake a little bit.
Yeah, you got to be able to forget, compartmentalize, whatever you want to call it, and move on. He hasn't been able to do so here in the second.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
They start on the ground with Adams, and he stopped immediately there. The tackle goes there to Linval Joseph.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
Here we go.
So nothing separating these two teams as we head to the break, all square. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thank you very much. More from you two in just a bit.
And now, due to apparent time constraints, we fast forward to the beginning of the second half. And ready to get the party started for the second half. It was an even first half, all tied on the scoreboard. Here comes Sherrills. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Kirk Cousins now gearing up to lead this offense back out there. And he's had some time to chew on that interception he threw on his last drive back in the first half.
Well, normally we say you want to get him right back out on the field and play again, right? But as you mentioned, had the halftime, had to stew about it a little bit. Maybe he'll have a chance to relax a little and kind of laugh and chuckle and let it go.
He'll hope to respond positively here to start the third quarter. Now we've got movement up front. And I think this is going to be on Minnesota.
False start, offense.
And that'll set them back 5.
Still first down.
A false start backs them up 5, 1st and 15. Cook following the penalty. Only a couple there, so he'll be brought down about the 28.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
They go play action. Cousins. And that one goes incomplete. He's maybe lucky it wasn't a fumble as he got hit as he threw it. So, Charles, tie game here. What are your keys as we continue to play this second half?
I know people think it's always trite when you say the same things over and over, but they're tried and true in the game of football. Who's going to block better? Who's going to tackle better? In this case, to me, it's turnovers. You've got to take care of the football in order to win the game.
Off the play fake, Cousins lets it fly for Thielen. And incomplete. He can't hang on. Would have been a nice catch. Instead, it brings up a 4th down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. That'll be put in the books as a 53-yard punt. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. So here are the Eagles now as they get set for their first possession of the second half. First half showed us some pretty good offense. Tie game, we'll see what the second half brings.
And it'll be interesting because I think both sides feel pretty good about what their offenses are doing. Got to wonder what adjustments are being made defensively to try and get a spark and maybe slow down the other side.
But here, do you change up anything on this opening drive?
Not offensively, you don't. You got everything going your way. You've probably prepared for maybe some change-ups you might expect, but overall, you like what your game plan's showing you.
Wentz to throw on second down. It fights him off. Being chased out left. And complete to Zach Ertz. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. And that one results in 35 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. On first down, Adams. And he'll get a little over 2, maybe a full 3 down to the 32-yard line.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. Here's Wentz to throw. And this is going to be incomplete. There to knock that one away defensively, Eric Kendricks. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
Well, that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that, and thus far they've been successful.
Throwing now is Wentz. He's got Dallas Goedert, his tight end, over the middle. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th.
Can't have enough good pass-catching tight ends in the NFL. And the Eagles, they wanted to replenish their stock. They lost Trey Burton in the offseason, so they selected Dallas Goedert out of South Dakota State in the 2nd round, and he is nothing but a big-time pass catcher.
What a great story, because South Dakota State didn't offer him a scholarship out of high school. He walked on there.
Yeah, so now Zach Ertz has a running mate at tight end.
Well, they don't get a touchdown here on the opening drive of the 3rd quarter, but I think maybe you still say mission accomplished as they come away with the lead.
No, absolutely. You keep the pressure on, right? You go downfield, get some points up on the board, and hope that you've motivated your defense to take the field and hold that lead.
Here comes Sherrills. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. And out now come the Vikings. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their 35-yard line. Here's Cook as they begin on the ground. Looking for an opening, not much there. He'll get it to the 39. Tackle made there by Jordan Hicks.
That play reminded me a lot of a former teammate of mine. We used to call him the trash man. His ability to sift through traffic and make plays was uncanny.
And that's exactly what you want from your Mike linebacker.
All right, now here we go.
Second down, Cousins. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. 5 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it 3rd and 1.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively, and it likely forces a punt situation on 4th.
That was a terrific job by the defense stopping them on 3rd and short. But sometimes you get some visual cues from the offense because when they're going in short yard situations, you might see the offensive line come in tighter together, a little more shoulder to shoulder, trying to wedge a hole in the middle. They didn't get it done on that play.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And they split the uprights last time for 3. They've got the lead. They're not going to play this conservative. They're not hoping for another field goal. They're hoping for a touchdown.
I'm with you on that one. I like where your head is. I like the way you're thinking because you're exactly right. Trying to sit on a lead and play that way, that doesn't work too well for most teams. Run your offense. Run what you do best. Exactly. Put it all the way down and try to increase your lead in a big way. And the best way to do it, touchdowns.
On 2nd down, here's Wentz. He'll rifle this one deep right side. And that one almost intercepted. Far too loose with the football here. Nearly a 4th pick. And it's 3rd down.
Trying to decipher what's going on out there because I don't know if he's just getting bad reads. I don't know if the defense is confusing him. I don't know if he just has, bad info and intel before he snaps the ball. But he's made some pretty bad decisions with the football lately.
Yeah, several bad decisions on the interceptions he's thrown in. Frankly, that should have been another pick right there. That Eagle 1st down, Wentz to Ertz.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Here's Adams. He takes this one across the 35 to the 36, a gain of about 4. Tough running there. That's a hard-earned 4 yards.
Yeah, those are the unsung kind of runs. They don't fill up the stat sheet, but they do set you up in good position on 2nd down.
Now Wentz. Dancing to his left. Give him 7 on the tuck and run, and it'll get him a new set of downs.
Looks to me, partner, like he's learned a little bit because earlier in the game, I think he was trying to force a lot of throws into some windows that just weren't open.
Yeah, the interceptions had plagued him, especially a second interception, really a bad throw. So maybe a better decision there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think he learned from earlier in the game, and he's applying it now.
And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. Tackle made that time by Anthony Barr.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, this big defensive lineman will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
46 down, man, 5-4. There we go, back.
On the carry, here's Clement. And he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Viking territory. It's a gain of 6, moves him to a manageable 3rd and 2 situation.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. He lost a big chunk, 6 yards there, and it leads to 4th down. And maybe just lucky to get that pass away.
And maybe should have held on to it because I don't know what you thought. That didn't look like the primary receiver to me.
No, I don't think it was.
I agree. I think he's coming to a secondary target. Maybe in that situation, you don't throw it at all. Eat it, take care of the football. They're fortunate nothing bad happened on that one.
Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 12-yard line. Now Cousins here on the bootleg. And he's going to go down. Back at his own 5-yard line, it's a sack. Nigel Bradham coming on the blitz. He gets him for a loss of 7. And that'll be marked down as their first sack of the game.
Well, they had 6 last week. And this offense did its homework, didn't it? Because they saw all that pressure, and they really worked hard to tamp it down and beat it back.
And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by Avonte Maddox. And he's going to return it to the 21-yard line. And he may want to track down that football because that's interception number 1 on his career.
You're saying that's going into the trophy case?
I'd put it there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's when you ask the equipment guys to make sure they hold it for you after the game. But if you play in the back seven on defense, that's part of your job, finding ways to take the ball away from the other team.
Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession.
They were forced to punt last time, and I doubt sincerely that they'll have to punt here because they're gifted with terrific field position.
I don't even want to think about the idea that they would end up punting starting with this type of field position. Neither do they. Great starting spot, great opportunity to run your full playbook. If they want to take a shot here, they can go ahead and do it.
They go play action here on first down. On the crossing route, complete. It's Tate, and he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. A gain of 6 there on first.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. And he'll get 4 there down to about the 12-yard line.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
The Eagles on third down. They're hitting at 60%, 6 out of 10 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation.
Again, they'll run it. Again, it Sproles. And he gets the first down yardage before he's brought down just outside the 10 at the 11. He needed a yard. That's what he got, and it's going to earn him a new set of downs.
So it's pretty simple, partner. You pick up a turnover, set you up in excellent field position. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out in this spot.
Yeah, they would have had to settle for a field goal attempt, but now they keep those touchdown hopes alive.
And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. It's been a very hotly contested game to this point. We saw a number of good games earlier today. This one might top all of those. It's been a dandy as we come up on 1st and 10. Wentz now to throw. And down he goes. They bring down Wentz on the sack. Eric Kendricks coming on the blitz. He gets him for a loss of 7.
I think normally we would talk about this more with basketball players and football players, but let's adopt it in this case. He's a stat sheet stuffer.
Had the interception earlier, now a sack. What, he just needs a touchdown for the trifecta.
That's about all he needs, and he's going to go for it.
To throw, it's Wentz. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Nothing open downfield, and he had to get that one out in a hurry because he just knew he was about to take a big shot. Probably couldn't get his legs into the throw. Became an all-arm throw trying to check it down to his running back. Incomplete.
The Eagles on 3rd down. Now, they've converted 7 times and could use another right now. This is 3rd and 17.
Shotgun now for Wentz. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked up by the former first-rounder Trey Waynes. And a short return to the 6-yard line. A critical error there in a tight game of the 4th.
All you talk about is taking care of the football, and especially with a lead here in the 4th quarter, turning it over, now the door is open for the opposition.
Just in general, when you're passing in the 4th quarter with a lead, no matter at what point, you got to be super careful.
Got to be careful, and sometimes you can be so careful that you end up running yourself into an error.
That'll set them back with a loss of 3 on the play. A 10th carry in the game for Cook. And not much there as he gets it up to about the 5-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup. It'll be 2nd down.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And they'll get him down up past the 15. Trying to find some space to operate, and now they'll have it. A gain of 12, a big first down to get away from the end zone.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
His throw incomplete.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right.
On
on second down. Cousins again.
Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. And that one results in 35 yards.
So what's the old expression that quarterbacks like to use when they decide to throw the football? I'm looking for either a touchdown or a check down. And he took the check down on that play, and it worked almost to perfection.
And his throw here is incomplete.
And it is true. You can draft the fastest. You can draft the most athletic guys. But if they don't know the art of positioning, sometimes it's all for naught. In this case, in the right spot, help force the incompletion.
Yeah, had his hands on it for a second. Would have been a tough catch, though. Falls incomplete. To throw, Cousins. And they went for a big play through the air on second down. Couldn't connect. Now it's third.
Trying to erase that deficit all at once. One big shot. He took it. Unfortunately for him, incomplete.
Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. Pressure comes, and down he goes. The Eagles get there for the sack. Fletcher Cox in there to drop him for a 4-yard loss, and it'll be 4th down. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
So that just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning. A great job defensively. Nowhere to go with the football. That led to the sack.
The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. The drive starts with a handoff to Adams. And this defense not giving him anything there. Maybe a yard up to the 36.
Well, Brandon, pace comes into play now because they've got the advantage. They've got the football, but they've got to be very careful about what speed they're going to play. You know, my music teacher back in New Paltz, Mrs. Bythema Bagley, used to say, don't go prestissimo when you really want to go largo. And what she meant by that is don't go too fast when you really want to go at a nice, slow, deliberate pace.
I am speechless. I am without speech.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense.
So they'll take the yardage and tack on 15 more for the face mask.
First down.
Talk about a play that absolutely costs you in the end. Just trying to do your job, right? Trying to get him on the ground. Next thing you know, they'll march off another 15 against your squad.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
So that'll back him up 5. The false start hurts him there a bit. Backs him up to 2nd and 9. They'll run it here with Adams. And he's taken down inside the 30. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
And he'll get this one down to about the 27. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Run blitz there defensively, something we might see more of here in the 4th quarter.
I think we'll see a lot of it, and the difference between that and a pass blitz, you're just trying to get to the quarterback. You're trying to scheme someone open who will get to the QB and make sure he gets on the ground. In a run blitz, you're actually trying to cover up gaps, trying to cover up holes so they can't run the football.
And they've got it in the red zone now, down at about the 19. Call it an 8-yard gain, much better shape now on 3rd and just a yard.
And after that type of a run, there's some talking going on down on the field, but it's not trash talking. The guy who just carried the ball, he's going back and telling his offensive line, great job, keep it up, and we'll break that one soon.
They'll run with Clement. And he picks up the first down yardage as he takes this one down to the 15. The gain of 4 that time as the drive continues. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what was said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3-and-out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
Throwing on first is Wentz. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you'd better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks with those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll set up a third down.
That second down play call was not to pick up the first down. It was to accomplish what they did to get them into a manageable third down because they had incompletion on first down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
And once again, they go with Sproles. And he's able to pick up the first before he's brought down inside the 5 at the 4. It's a gain of 6 as they're able to convert, and now it's first and goal.
But they didn't accomplish their goal. They didn't get a stop there, gave up another first down. They have all 3 timeouts in their pocket. I think defensively, you've got to start thinking about using them here.
I was just going to ask you at what point you think now's the go time?
I think now's the go time. I don't think you sit back and wait because they can take a lot of time off the clock between plays and run 3 to 4 and really put you in a stressful spot.
So first and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. The run, it's Clement. And he's in for an Eagles touchdown. A great play there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Eagles add on to their lead. And nothing special there. They showed they were going to run the football. They ran it. They got it in.
Like old-time football, right? Hey, this is exactly what we're going to do. Straight-ahead power, and they got it done.
Elliott on for the extra point. Elliott good on the extra point, and his guys will take a 10-point lead. Elliott now to kick this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And now out comes Minnesota. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And he'll get this one up to the 26. And the tackle there by Chris Long.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Again, it's Cook. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. The Vikings on 3rd down, lacking much success, just 2 for 7 to this point. This is 3rd down and 12. Time for a break. We're back to finish this one off after this. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They face a 3rd down now as they try to find a late score. From the gun, here's Cousins. And he finds Cook. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. An excellent pickup of 34 yards. Now Cousins. And this is intercepted. And that should do it. Picked off by Avonte Maddox. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Just a little bit of a rough stretch. 6 interceptions now in these last 2 weeks combined.
I know the easy thing is to go back to mechanics, footwork, things of that nature. I'm also wondering, is he getting fooled by what he's seeing on defense? Has the scouting report changed? Are they showing him things different than what he expected? For the second week in a row, he's throwing it to the guys in the wrong color shirts.
Yeah, he better figure, whatever the reason is, he better figure it out. Carson Wentz and the Eagles make their way out to the field. And right now, probably just one thing in his mind, it's getting back to the hot start because he's really faded.
And ordinarily when that happens, the quarterback, as you know, is usually the leader of the squad. Now there's probably a silent camaraderie that comes around him saying, hey, guess what? We got you. Don't worry about it. Let's go, big fella. Because they know more times than not, he tends to pick things up, and they tend to play well.
Have to imagine this will be on the ground as well as they come up 2nd and 7. They'll run again with Adams. Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts as they'll get it with just under 90 seconds remaining. And defensively going with a dime set. 6 DBs on 3rd and 4.
Lion.
Now it's toss play. Here's Adams shedding the tackle. And he's got some space here. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. The Vikings going to use their 3rd and final timeout. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. The Eagles in the victory formation as they take a knee.
Here we go. 120.
Wentz with a kneel down, and that will be the final act of this game. And a sight that's becoming familiar in this season. They remain undefeated, another win under their belt.
And they did it the way that they really want to. Taking a knee at the end of the game, that means you have the ball, you're in control, you dictate the final part of this ball game, and they did exactly that.
And the clock rolls down to 0. And, Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
So for the Eagles, they improved to 5-0 now on the young season. And they will hit the road next week to take on the New York Giants. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they'll fall to 1-4 with a loss. And they'll be at home next week for a date with the Arizona Cardinals. So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.